In May 2024, my wife and I went on an iron horse ramble with the Reading, Blue Mountain, and Northern Railroad. Our train was pulled by Locomotive 2102, a 484 Northern that was a member of the Reading Railroad's T1 class. It was built for the Reading in 1925 as a consolidation by Baldwin and reworked in the Reading shops in 1945 into this 484 configuration. It's a monster of a locomotive that could pull our 15-car train with ease. We boarded our train at the Reading Outer Station in Reading, Pennsylvania. The train chugged out of the station and rolled along past houses, farms, and fields in the Pocono Mountains of Pennsylvania on its way to the town of Jim Thorpe, a journey of about 60 miles. We made one station stop at the town of Port Clinton, where the railroad is headquartered. The railroad has a turntable there. That's a Christmas tree farm. Much of the route runs through the mountains in the valley of the Little Schuylkill River. It twists and turns like a snake, requiring 60 miles of track to cover a distance of 30 miles as the crow flies. I got a lot of soot in my face taking these pictures. We crossed the hometown trestle, which is 156 feet high and over 900 feet long. Originally a wooden structure built in the 1800s, it was replaced by a steel structure in 1931. It underwent a major overhaul in 2011. Even so, I didn't like looking down from it. The line also operates the Lehigh Gorge Scenic Railroad, which runs shorter excursions out of Jim Thorpe. Here we see one of those trains. I didn't realize it when I was taking these pictures, but the other train is on part of a Y that allows the trains to turn around. We arrived at Jim Thorpe, and I got off quickly and scurried to the front, expecting to see the train continue forward to somewhere where the locomotive could be turned around and moved to the other end of the train. I found a perfect spot, and then, to my dismay, the train started moving backward. It would back up to the Y, turn around, and back into the station for the return trip. Here comes the train into the station backward, but the good news was that it backed all the way through the station and disappeared. It needed to get out of the way of passengers trying to board one of the scenic railroad excursions. A few minutes later, this happened. The locomotive, without the rest of the train, came through the station and stopped on a siding out of the way of the other trains. Two scenic railroad departures were scheduled from the station before our return trip, so my wife and I spent some time walking through the town, visiting shops, and having a lunchtime snack. Meanwhile, the steam crew did some maintenance on the locomotive, and they set up some step ladders to allow visitors like me to tour the cab. I met the fireman and engineer and found out how uncomfortably hot the cab of a steam engine gets. The second scenic railroad excursion was being pulled by an F7A and B unit in shiny RB-M&N livery. As soon as the other train was out of the way, 2102 went into reverse again to go get its coaches. Here comes the full train back into the Jim Thorpe station, ready for its return trip. We chugged our way out of Jim Thorpe on our way back to Port Clinton and Reading. I think this was the top speed the train reached. By measuring the timing of the chugs in this video, 4 chugs to 1 revolution of the drivers, and recognizing that the wheels are 70 inches in diameter, I calculated that the train was going about 30 miles an hour in this stretch. If someone knows the truth, please add a comment. We retraced our steps back to Port Clinton and Reading. Here we are arriving in Port Clinton. I put the camera away at that point.
Port Clinton passengers. With an open door and step box. Please follow their instructions. Take your time. Anyone getting hurt. We certainly hope you enjoyed your trip today and that you'll come back and see us again soon. Bye-bye.
A few other items of interest. This locomotive, Canadian Locomotive Series D10, a 460 10-wheeler, number 225, seems to be on static display on the Reading Outer Station's parking lot. It looks beautiful on the line's website, not so much in real life. My wife and I have visited Jim Thorpe many times, and I thought I'd share some old photos with you. In 1978, this locomotive sat at the station. It's another D10 10-wheeler from the Canadian Pacific. It was removed from service in 1985 and is apparently currently disassembled at Strasbourg with its plans for restoration dormant. The whole station complex at Jim Thorpe was a mess in 1978. Jumping ahead to 2004, and the town of Jim Thorpe looks a lot better. The station looked better too, but not as nice as it does now. That's me with darker hair ready to board an excursion train. One 2004 train was pulled by this CNJ pair of EMD F3A units. Our train in 2004 was also pulled by a diesel, but I can't remember what type.